What about you? What's happening today, Jason?
This is overseeding for dummies.
You're trying to say? Today we're going to be doing a beginner's guide to the best time to overseed your lawn. Now, we have done some overseeding before this year, but this is our first paid job.
Yep.
So we're going to go through all the pros and cons, the best time to overseed, and how to get the most out of your overseeding. So, let's go. So our first job, we're going to get the grass cut, and we had to put these posts in here because there's a power cable runs up the centre of the garden for the electric gates. So today we're up against it because it's been very, very wet this week, and April's living up to its name, which is April showers. But I'm going to say that's actually really good for seeding. So it depends how far north and how far south you are in the UK or Ireland when about you can seed. Lots of people say to me, Rob, is it safe for me to seed my lawn now? Really depends locally to you, the weather conditions, and when the frost comes. We did have some frost early morning this week, so I'm going to talk more about why I think it's safe for me to seed, but more on that later. For any beginners watching this, welcome to the show. Don't forget, smash that like button because it really helps me out. So to explain to you overseeding and aerating and why it works so well. So first of all, we're going to have a look at one of the cores that came out of the lawn. So you can see that there's quite a lot of thatch in this garden. So the thatch is this spongy layer, I would say bouncy. And then at the bottom we'll have our soil. And we have some roots in this lawn, not very many, but you can see your thatch layer actually protects the grass from drying out in the summertime. But whenever you have too much thatch, then it's going to stop air, water and light getting down into your lawn. Now, the reason why it's so beneficial to do whenever you're overseeding your lawn is I like to think of these as plant pots. So whenever you take one of these cores out of the lawn, you're putting millions or thousands of little holes into your lawn, and that gives the seeds somewhere safe to grow. I've seen it so many times. We've come back to gardens where we have overseeded the lawn and we've aerated alongside, and you can see all little grass plants growing or inside that hole and growing out into the lawn. Absolutely fantastic. Now our next step to double it up, we're going to do some scarification. So the scarification helps manage this thatch layer. It also creates grooves in the soil, which helps, again, those grooves help with the overseeding, but more on that later. So if you're watching this and you're thinking, I'm a beginner, Robbie, I don't have all these tools. Simple answer, you can hire these tools from any good hire shop, probably for around £100 each per tool per day, because you're probably going to have to get it delivered to you as well, because you're not going to get one of those tools in the back of your car, probably. So hire shop, or alternatively, if you're in a smaller garden, we've done lots of videos. I did a video a couple of years ago on the cheapest Amazon tools, so I'll drop a link to that down in the video description. Now Jason's going to do some work here. You can see the lines in the soil there from the scarifier, so that's going to give us an excellent base to work from. So now we're on to the scarification. Now Jason is doing 2 passes. What I mean by 2 passes is doing it over twice. We usually do it on different directions, perpendicular, and then if you go the more perpendicular you go, the more you take out. The closer you bring those lines together, the less you bring out. Now, just to have a quick look at some of this material, it is a little bit dumper today than I'd like, especially because we're going to be top dressing. So it's going to be fun later on, trying to get the top dressing properly worked into the lawn. But to explain to you what this is, so we'll have dead grass, lots of moss, lots of grass. Now, if you were doing this yourself, you might put down the iron beforehand. So we're not allowed to tell you that iron kills moss. Just to kill moss doesn't kill moss anymore. So the products that we use to control the iron dehydrates it and blackens it down, and it makes it easier to rake out. So if you're a beginner and you're doing this for the first time, then you might want to put the iron on beforehand. We always put the iron on afterwards, as whenever we scarify, it opens the lawn up. You've seen those lines in the soil. It opens the soil up, and then the iron gets right down to the bottom and it dehydrates it. It doesn't kill it, it just burns it. Now, you're not allowed to say that it kills it because it's not a herbicide. So to clear this up, we're going to do some blowing, and then we'll do some raking. Go ahead, Jason. So I have a big, dirty, dark cloud behind me. So Jason's get the blower out. I'm going to get the other blower out. Let's go. Next up, we've got overseeding. Why do we want to overseed our lawns, Jason?
So you can have a nice, thick, luscious lawn.
100%. So the benefit behind having a nice thick lawn, less weeds.
Less weeds, yes.
Less weed grasses.
Indeed.
It's nature's best defense against weeds. So there's a few other reasons why you would overseed your lawns. There's no shade in this garden,
Definitely not.
but some gardens, you might have a lot of shade, and that's whenever you might want to introduce more shade tolerant grass
Yes.
into your lawn. Or alternatively, if you live somewhere that has a lot of droughts, you'd want drought tolerant grass seed.
Yeah.
So it gives you the opportunity to bring in other grasses that you want. And I'm going to give a quick shout out to the lovely folks over at Boston Seeds who sponsor the channel. They have a exclusive discount this month.
They do. 10% off.
Yeah, I'm going to drop the link to that down in the video description.
Yes.
Use the code Premier10 at checkout. Now, unfortunately, it's only available to UK mainland. So today we are using a dwarf rye and fescue. Go ahead, Jason, throw it on. So we actually use the fertiliser spreader to put this on with. You could broadcast it with your hand, or alternatively, like a little hand spinner is a really good job to get the seed evenly across the lawn. So we use these posts anytime we're seeding and fertilising. So Jason's going to head down the fertiliser spreader, throws the seed out, and then we'll go to that post. Then whenever he comes back, he's going to come to this post. On the iGrow Carpet website, we have a free course on how to fertilise your lawn. Covers absolutely everything you need. We look at different spinners, different fertiliser spreaders. We break it all down, make it really, really simple that any beginner can get the hang of fertilising their lawn. Whenever you learn how to do it, then that's a skill you'll always have. And trust me, whenever you learn how to do it, your lawn will look loads better if you're going to feed it. So our next task is we're going to do some top dressing. If you're seeding lawns, you can seed it and then run a mat over it, and that helps work the seed down into the soil. Or alternatively, if you had like a roller lawnmower, you could run over the lawn, and that would ensure good seed to soil contact. We use lawn seeding soil. It can be hard to get, but if you search around your local independent garden centres, there's a good chance that you'll find something or something similar to it. The reason why we use the bag screen topsoil is because it's heat treated, and it means it's weed free. Whenever you buy a ton bag of topsoil, you don't know what material is going to be in it. So the downside to ordering soil this time of year, we're picking up these bags and they're pretty heavy. I'm going to say they're probably quite wet. There's not really much you can do about it, unfortunately. One of the biggest questions we get asked anytime we're top dressing lawns, how much soil do I need? And on the iGrow Carpet website, we have a learning hub, and the learning hub has loads of free information for you, but it also has calculators for top dressing, seeding and fertilising, and it'll tell you exactly how much you need.
So we've hit my location and it's taken us to the property that we're at. So scroll down, hit start drawing, map out the area that we're gonna top dress, and it's given us area there, and then we're going to be doing it at a 3mm top dressing. So that's working it out. We're going to use a 30 litre bags roughly 24 bags, and we know the price is about £8 a bag at the 30 litres.
So we're not getting a bad coverage. Would like it ideally maybe just a little bit heavier than that. But whenever we'll mat it in, it's going to spread it across. But still seems to be coming out of the spinner not too bad. The compost roller is so much faster at top dressing lawns than doing it by hand. We do have a little bit to do by hand, and you'll see how much slower it is. Good thing about the compost roller is it stops all this crap going on the lawn, but I'm really quite disappointed at the amount of rubbish in that from how little bags there is. That's, don't know what that is. That's a stone or a stick. Not great. Say that's a good thing about the compost roller. It stops all that going onto the lawn. So the soil being wet, there's nothing obviously you can do about that time of year and all the rest, but the amount of material left over and that stuff, not great. I've always had a rule on my channel, and I'm not going to break it now. If I don't use something myself, I'll never ever recommend it to you. And at the minute, I couldn't recommend this stuff to you. So earlier on, I was raving about it. But now this pallet's going to have to go back. Like, we buy this by the pallet, and occasionally we also buy it from our local garden centre. But the amount of top dressing we're doing at the minute, or we're about to start doing, which makes it really hard. I'm really disappointed in this. Now, don't worry, I'm going to keep you updated. I don't usually speaking ill of any company in any of my videos, but I'm not going to use a product that I wouldn't recommend myself, and I'm really disappointed with the amount of debris in these bags. For me, it's not acceptable. We have a bit of an area here to do. We need to do some top dressing around here, and if I put those bags onto this lawn, God only knows the amount of crap that will be in it. Let's get that emptied out. Not too much crap in that. Right. That's more like it. So as it's drier, it's coming out thicker onto the lawn, which is what we want. Whenever we have a look, now obviously this has got nothing to do with the quality of it, but whenever you have a look to there, and that stuff's dry, but there's a lot more product on the lawn. This is one bag. Go ahead, Jason. Back to the start. How much have we got left? Bit of a difference. So that's about 4 bags in. What have I got? No, still some stuff. You always get a wee bit of stuff, but that's the good thing, but not the amount of bark that we had. I'll do a wee bit of leveling around this here. So up at the top here, there was this small manhole cover. So we've dumped a load of bags in around it, and we're going to level out around it. And then we're going to show you the benefit behind using a compost roller as opposed to spreading the likes of this material out by hand. So it never fails to amaze me whenever you're looking to raise an area up, how much soil you actually need, because you need to bring the material quite far back. So that's one bag. Now you can see that one bag doesn't go that far doing it like this. So 1, 2, 3 bags. If this was in the compost roller, we would do that easily with one bag. Our commercial jobs, we usually use a metal drag mat, but I brought this to show you because we're doing this for any beginners watching. So this is a broom handle, cable ties, and a mat. Gonna drop a link down to where you can get all those bits and bobs on Amazon. I know that a lot of people have bought them. One of my top tips for storing it, if you're going to store that mat, a few people said to me one year, we don't have room for it. In your shed, put it like that and put the tools on top of it. So the mat has 2 key functions. Number 1, good seed to soil contact, what we talked about earlier. It's really important that your seed has good seed to soil contact for germination. And then the other thing is it levels the lawn and it pulls it off the high bits and into the lower areas. Favorite time to overseed is September because the soil is still warm and there's more dampness. You can 100% overseed in April. We're filming this the middle of April. Last month I did some overseeding in March and I talked about being the amber gambler. So what I mean by that is the earlier you go, the bigger risk you take. So the longer you leave it. So at the minute we're middle of April, it's been pretty mild. There's been a couple of frosts in the morning, but not really heavy frost. If you seed your lawn and you get heavy frost, then there's a good chance that it kills the young seedlings because they can't survive the frost unless you have like a fleece covering on it. So lots of people say to me, Robbie, when can I seed my lawn? It really depends when the frost local to you passes. So next up we are going to put on some iGrow carpet pre-seeder. Watering advice for a new lawn. April's pretty good because as discussed, it's still very damp. As we head into May, if you hit a dry spell, you need the water. So the best time to water your lawn is 6 a.m. in the morning. I know I wouldn't want to be up at 6 a.m. to water the lawn. So the bit of advice I'd give you if you're overseeding your lawn, especially this time of year, to make sure to keep it watered, but get yourself a cheap water timer. You can pick them up from Amazon for 20 or 25 quid, really cheap. You just set it and you forget it. A couple more products to put on. We've got some green shot iron. We're going to be going on at 5 grams a square meter. And we have the seaweed. I like to think of seaweed as you're actually feeding the soil, you're not just feeding the lawn. Now, on the calculator that you use to work out how much fertiliser you need, on iGrow Carpet, all our products it'll tell you, you can be able to measure your lawn, it'll tell you exactly how much you need. That's really handy for the green shot iron because the green shot iron you can put on at a lower rate and it'll just green up your lawn. Whenever you put it on a higher rate, then you get that effect on the moss that we talked about earlier.